afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young. I cannot believe, but this is the next to last show in the month of May of 2024 that we're doing, and we have an awesome guest tonight. He's by Zoom. He's in his car, and not too far from here in the town of Bridgewater, Mass. We're in Carver, of course, at Area 58. He's making some adjustments with his phone to try and keep it cool, keep it flowing. He's a photographer, and before we get to him, of course, we got to get these awesome underwriters, and then we will commence with the show per usual. So we have Here Way to Heaven Family Salon in Norwell. We have Carver Jewels Incorporated, Ronald Darwin, Lyle Delano Goldsmiths, right here in Carver in the building. We have New England Floorscapes in Middleborough. We have a new one, European Auto Sales in Whitman. We have Madigan Land Surveying in Middleborough. We have Brian's Barbershop in Kingston. We have another new one, 7090 Automotive Performance in Middleborough. We have the Hanover House of Pizza in Hanover. They make great Sicilian pizza, delicious Greek salads, have awesome people working there, and they deliver. We have Crazy Axes Rec Center in Hanover. We have Kingston Auto Body in Kingston. We have Salon Giovanni in Marshfield. We have Countertops Express in North Attleboro, experts in the installation and removal of quartz and granite. We have the Gunrunner LLC, the Second Amendment Freedom Store in Middleborough, specializing in customer service, pricing, and selection. We have Pal's Driving School in Middleborough, just setting up classes for the month of August. Better check that website for that. We have DNS Auto Works and Collision Specialists in Abington, up the road on Route 58. And we have the Auto Shop in Hanover with Master Mechanic Ed Rooney. And I want to thank you guys very much. Now, Mr. Sean Riley, how you doing today? What an awesome honor it is to have an amazingly skilled photog as a guest on my show, and you do other things too. So how's it going, man?
It's going great, Harrison. How you doing today?
Good. You're sitting in your car in Bridgewater, and I saw the American flag, so I know you're. I passed it on the way here myself on the way down here at Area 58, and yeah,
that big puppy right behind me.
Oh, exactly. Is it windy out there? You're in your car. It looks kind of windy, but
not really. No, not really at all. I mean, it's been a mild day, anyways.
Yeah,
which is good. Not windy.
Not a great day for kite flying, I guess. All right. Well, I got you from Catherine Yang, who was a wonderful guest on my show from the Eastern location, and I had her on last week. And you saw the show yesterday or today, because we uploaded it last night, and she recommended you highly as a guest, and possibly we'll go look at some of your pictures. So tell me about yourself. Where did you grow up? What did you do as a younger guy? You don't look too old, but talk about your childhood and how it led to what you're doing now. So, and then I'll have any questions.
Well, first of all, I want to say that Kat asked me to say hello to you.
Okay. Hey, Kat.
So, and she wanted to thank you very much through me for that opportunity.
Thank you.
Whatnot. So, a little history about me. I grew up in Quincy.
Okay.
Many moons ago. I won't tell you how many. Went through the Quincy school system. Graduated from Quincy High, North Quincy High, as a matter of fact. And then went on my life. Just after that, went into the working world. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Some corporate America, and and getting into the subject which we're going to talk about is photography. I started when I was a kid. I was in junior high school.
Okay.
And that's pretty much, what it is. And, that's a passion I've kept in my back pocket forever. So, that's me in a nutshell. I'm a dad, two grown daughters, and who are career driven.
Okay.
And I work for the Commonwealth full time, as well as I do in the photography, in my spare time, when I have some spare time.
Okay.
So that's the kind of it. If I may, I'd like to, if it's okay with you, pull an excerpt of my website that kind of gives me a brief description of where I came from in the photography world.
Okay.
If that's okay with you.
Sure.
All right. So I've actually copied it off, so I have it here in front of me.
Okay.
And
what are you going to do? You're going to read something, right? Is that it?
Yeah, I'll take a second if that's okay.
No, take all the time you want. I just I don't want you to lose the image because the internet could be a little tough where you are. That's all.
Exactly. So basically, it says and it's on my website. It's called Me in a Nutshell. So imagine you're 13 years old in junior high school and you have to fill out that schedule with an elective.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's where the picture taking thing all started. I'm in homeroom and the teacher hands out a piece of paper with a list of elective classes on it. We're told to take this home and have our parents fill it out. That was the easy part, so I thought. After sitting with my parents and much discussion, we came up with the conclusion that photography might be a good choice.
Okay.
After all, both my parents loved taking pictures, and I enjoyed watching them when the camera was in their hand. So the following day, I head into school with my form all filled out and ready to get started. Well, not so fast. They said, "Wait, what? We need to make sure that space is available for you." They said, "Just a minor detail." Oops. As it turned out, it was thanks to my mom and that she gifted me her little Instamatic camera to get me started. And I leave you with this, and the rest is history.
Oh, okay. When you started out doing photography in eighth grade, what kind of pics were you taking mostly? Like, with nature pics, people, both sports, action.
It basically came off to, the teacher would give us assignments to do.
Okay.
Do things like, still life, like a football or, a table or, a picture through a window, things of that nature.
Okay.
And then bring it was black and white film.
Right.
Bring the film back and go from there. Let's create a picture from that.
Okay.
Let's learn how to do things that the enlarger, will help you do, like, enhance the tone, the contrast, the density of the picture, things like that.
Did you do your own development? I figure you would probably did you have your own darkroom?
I didn't have a darkroom, but I was actually able to process black and white film at home.
Okay.
So, bury myself in the closet. There's no light going in. I put the film in this little container and, go forward with the chemistry and whatnot and developing film.
Yep.
Again, black and white. So it was very simple. But we did most of it in high school, junior high and high school, in the darkroom and whatnot. And then, create prints.
Okay. I remember, I know this reminds me, and when I was in college, and did you go to college? And if so, where?
No, I did not.
You didn't? Okay.
I didn't.
Well, I went to Curry College, and I'm sure you're familiar with it because it's not too far from Quincy. It's in Milton.
I do, yep, right in Milton. Yep.
Right in Milton. So I took a photography course in 1989, that spring, when I was, I was finishing up school. And the guy and the teacher he was a good guy, but he was such a perfectionist that, I flunked it. I couldn't pass. And I had a really hard time because some of the kids, there was on May 6, 1989, it was a Saturday, and some kids glued shut some of the kids that were living on campus, which I was not, and I was already older than most of the students anyway. I was already 29 and a half. They thought it would be funny to get, hammered and then glue shut the locks to the photo lab. So I had to go in on that Sunday to do some work, but the photo labs were all locked because of the glue that the students had added into the keyholes, and the security guards didn't work on Sunday, so they couldn't open the lab. So I lost a whole day's worth of work from that.
Oh,
and
geez.
I still would have probably flunked, but so I admire anybody that really, is a true professional like yourself. I guess in that you really, when it comes to photography, it's basics 101 for you, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of detail that goes into it. It's not like digital now, which makes everybody, any amateur photographer can take pics today with the phones we have and everything and make them look halfway decent. But you took more pride in that. I think it was more passionate and more in depth for you than it was for most people, right?
Well, 100% with that. Everything you mentioned just recently, you hit the nail on the head. And that said, now I was shooting back in the day, shooting film,
right,
and continued shooting film up until probably 1995, 6, 7, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And then I started to, no, actually later than that, up until about 8 or 9 years ago. And that's when I purchased my first digital camera.
Okay.
So but in the meantime, shooting film, I was shooting weddings. I shot
Oh, wow.
weddings for 20 years. I did weddings for 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah. I've shot probably, without exaggeration, in that 20-year period, probably 200 to 300 weddings.
Wow, well. I got to ask right off the bat. Now, first of all, when you shoot a wedding, you can't screw up because that's a special day for everybody involved. And the last thing you want to. So how did you market yourself, network yourself out there enough to get that many projects?
Well, that of course was over time. It was over a 20-year period of time, as well. I did some studio work with other studios to assist them as a second photographer or primary, which kind of helped along. Now, mind you, I was working a full-time job at the same time.
For the registry, right?
No, actually, I was working for AT&T at the time.
Oh, okay, interesting.
And in the restaurant business, I did some career changing, career balancing, and whatnot. But again, the photography stayed in my back pocket as a passion. I made some money with it. Right. So to get back to that, how did I market myself? Well, back in the days, there were trade shows, at the malls, things like that, and they still have them.
Yeah.
But you had mentioned something earlier, which is 100% true, that back then, as a filmographer, particularly one who was doing weddings, who had that special skill to go out and communicate to the brides, the grooms, the churches, the function halls, and whatnot, really had that niche. Now, as I say, little Jimmy goes to Best Buy or to wherever and, pays $600 for a digital camera with a kit lens and says, oh, I can do weddings. I can do this. I can do that. And, that in itself has actually created a little bit of a turmoil in the industry.
Okay. How so?
Well, what happens is, little Jimmy says, I can do a wedding and says, oh, I'll do my cousin's wedding. I'll charge him $200 or whatever. They go, whatever the price is going to be. And at the end of the day, they missed all the key shots, the first kiss, the dance, not communicating with the priest or the minister, whoever's officiating,
right,
to make sure they're doing the right shot, doing the right thing, not getting thrown out of the church,
okay,
not getting thrown out of the function hall. And these things have happened.
Wow.
Oh yeah. I know photographers who have been asked to stop, taking pictures. I, for one, it happened to me many years ago.
Huh. Well, what were the details? It sounds like rough, but what happened?
Well, the detail was, as I got in there, I touched base with the officiator. Yep. I said, what do you want me to do? So on and so forth, kept the lines of communication. And the comment was, when I go to the pulpit to start my homily. Okay. Well, guess what? He started his homily and my cue was off on that. And he did it from the altar and not the pulpit.
Okay.
And right there in front of 200 people said, you, sir, must go to the back of the church and not come back till I ask you to.
Oh, wow. That must be tough. Yeah, you really have to defer to everybody when and it could be somebody that could be in a bad mood and that could end up screwing things up as well. I can imagine that must be prevalent. That can happen.
Oh, absolutely. And it's all about keeping the lines of communication open from the moment from the moment you sit down with that potential client, the bride and groom.
Yes.
Or even somebody you're doing a portrait session with.
Yep.
Be straightforward. Ask the qualified questions. Give them direction.
Yep.
And this is stuff that when I was doing weddings, Harrison, I actually started off with kind of flying by the seat of my pants a little bit. Then I opened up to a one-page questionnaire, which I would hand off to the bride and groom, which ultimately grew to 4 or 5 pages.
Okay.
Which I could send to them via mail, snail mail, email, whatever. Answer these questions. Bring this back to me. Let's talk about it after the fact. That way you know what's going on. I know who's on first. I know who the players are. I know that there's limiting my margin of error.
Yep. Okay.
Even like when I go to a portrait session, like when Kat and I have done a couple of sessions together.
Okay.
It's like, okay, where are we going? What are we doing? What do you want to do? What outfits are you wearing? I'm going to use this type of lighting. Are you okay with that? And so on and so forth.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
And having worked with many professional models, it's just that. Communicate.
How many? All right. I was gonna ask you if you ever done stock photography, but now I want to know about how many models have you worked with? I mean, can you ballpark it? Have you worked with as many models as you've done wedding pictures?
No, no. I mean, the modeling thing actually came about probably 4 years ago, maybe.
Well, that's still a lot of time. I imagine you've had quite a few though, right? Or a pretty good amount.
I'll be honest, half a dozen or so, only because it's hard to obtain them sometimes, particularly through the advent of social media.
Okay.
Because everybody's out there for, there's a model who wants to do a photo shoot. There's a photographer who wants to photograph a model.
Right.
So the numbers outweigh each other across the board.
Right. I mean, there's plenty of competition you have for models.
It's hyper competition no matter how you got. Because, like I said, think of that little Jimmy who goes up by the camera.
Right.
Little Jimmy says, "Oh, I can do models." Okay, well, show me what you got. Show me the technique that you're going to use. I have actually mentored people.
Okay.
In the past to get them to do certain things a certain way.
Right.
I have a home-based studio. I've actually turned my living room into a studio that I can break down at a moment's notice just to live like a normal human being, set up at the moment's notice to do my work inside. As Kat had mentioned, I did cue into this, that not only am I able to do the things inside, but I can also travel to location.
Okay. Oh, right. Exactly. That's good. Now, you're obviously very busy with your other work though. How do you make enough time to do all this stuff?
You've heard that expression about sleepy and overrated?
Oh yeah. I don't happen to believe it though. I need my sleep, but that's me.
Need I say any more? I'm on the go. When I get through with work on Saturday, because my schedule is Tuesday to Saturday, I'm typically nonstop. I'm the Energizer Bunny. From the time I leave work at 4:30 on Saturday afternoon till the time I go to bed Monday night.
Well, okay. If you got that kind of energy, more power to you. Obviously, you have that.
At my age, it's not too bad. I'll tell you.
Okay. Well, I mean, great. I mean, that's not no, it isn't bad, but it is but there's only 24 hours in a day, though. So I'm saying, what I'm asking you is, how do you manage? I'm not talking about. Obviously, you get enough sleep, but how do you manage to do your job at the registry now and those other jobs and still manage to cover all that photography?
Well, it's basic planning.
I guess it is.
It really is. Planning ahead, knowing I have my 2 days off. I can do a shoot on a Sunday or Monday. I can, I get out early enough where I had to do like a early evening shoot somewhere.
Okay.
I do that. I would bring my camera with me to work unless it's, in my area where I live, over in Taunton, and just, run, jump, and fly.
Okay.
For example, it was last week, I think it was a Thursday night. I had done some pictures in Boston.
Okay.
Graduation pictures on Acorn Street.
Okay.
Now, if you're not familiar with Acorn Street, it's actually the most photographed street in the city of Boston.
Okay, well, I might have seen it. I don't know where it is though. I mean, I probably
right on Beacon Hill. It's right on Beacon Hill, right off Charles Street. It's a beautiful street.
That area.
Yep.
Okay.
But anyways, so the whole thing was, I finished work, I headed into town, I met them at 5:30. Spent an hour or so doing pictures.
Okay.
Exit stage right now, mind you, I'm done. I'm driving all the way from Boston back home to Taunton.
Okay.
Now, that's a hike.
I know it is.
But again, I did a full day job, and I have a very happy client. They're extremely happy with their pictures.
That's awesome. Have you ever gone to different parts of the country to work doing photography, or just around here?
Just around here, actually. I'd say as far as like any type of traveling, I've done probably landscape stuff.
Okay.
I've gone to Cape Elizabeth up in Maine.
Maine, yeah.
Done some of the lighthouses like Portland Head Lighthouse and York Harbor, Noble Lighthouse. I've done a lot of lighthouse pictures, a lot of landscape pictures, a lot of night pictures. I actually have, speaking of pictures, right now as we speak, I have an exhibition on display at the Taunton Library.
Sweet. I go to Taunton every Saturday to get underwriters, so maybe I'll stop in there. I don't know if they're open Saturday though. Are they?
They are open Saturdays. I think they're going to do Saturday closings for the summer at some point. I'm not sure when.
Okay.
I did see something on their door or something like that. And then in June and July, I'll have two exhibitions running consecutively at the Norton Library.
Okay. I don't know where either of those libraries are. Is the Taunton Library where the Taunton Green is, like right in that Rotary area? Right in that
Right around the corner from it. Yep, right around the corner.
Okay.
And the Taunton Library, the Norton Library, I believe is on, I want to say it's 140.
140, right. Yeah, that's easy enough to find. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's right down there. Was it Wheaton College or Wheelock College, whatever's down here.
Right, that's 140. Yeah. Well, so what?
Yep.
No, like I was about to ask you before. So I guess you've done stock photography too. I tried that in 1993, and it didn't really take. But I guess you've done it.
No, stock photography is basically you're taking hundreds of pictures of an item,
right,
and then trying to sell it.
Yes, exactly.
I don't do that. I looked into it, and it was back when I was, everybody wanted 35 millimeter, this and that.
Yep.
I said that's not my cup of tea. I'd rather do people and things like that. So over time, I've changed my repertoire from not just people, but also landscape. I photograph cars, the old-fashioned cars. I go to car shows, things like that. So if one was to go through my hard drives, you wouldn't believe what you're going to find. You're going to find a gamut from people to places to cars to wherever. I have some pictures that have been on exhibit that people have been, I'm going to say it, they've been amazed by. I have the display that's on up at the Taunton Library right now. It's called Boston After Dark.
Okay.
No play on the old show, but I just happened to come up with that.
Was that really Boston After Dark? You took pictures of Boston After Dark?
I did, as a matter of fact, and I took them all late at night, and most of them were taken actually during COVID.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess you didn't have much company then. You get no one getting in the way, but at the same time, you didn't have many people around out there either, right?
Not only that, and I could park anywhere I want. That's why I say thank you, Marty Walsh.
Oh, wow. Okay, good old Marty Walsh.
He opened up free parking to the city of Boston for that time.
Then, but he isn't now, right?
Yeah. What's that?
He was the mayor then during COVID, but he isn't anymore.
Correct. Yeah. So Mayor Wu is the mayor now.
Okay. Well, right. This Dr. Wu.
But I have pictures on display. I have one particular that I shot at 3:00 in the morning.
Wow. Okay. Well, I bet I might have been awake somewhere, wondering when this COVID was going to end, because I remember how awful that was. I had a 4-month hiatus from doing my show during the COVID time. So yeah, at least you made the most of it. I'm so happy that.
Yeah, I did. As a matter of fact, the thing is, too, is at the time that I was able to stay up so late, I was working for a restaurant company. So I get home late at night, and guess what I was doing? I was taking pictures. I was so I didn't want to sleep.
Right.
But I have pictures from actually if you're familiar with the Longfellow Bridge.
Okay. Of course.
Okay,
I lived in Cambridge as a baby off and on for the early 1930s.
So there you go.
Right.
So I have a picture of the Longfellow Bridge actually shot from the Boston side of Charles Circle.
Okay.
And that's the one that I did at 3:00 in the morning, which, by the way, that image was published in a calendar several years ago.
Wow.
And then I have the Zachem Bridge. There's a particular shot of the Zachem Bridge that was published in a calendar. I have another one of the Old Stone Church out in West Boylston, also published. So I've had some published work, which is great.
Yes.
My goal is to, make some money, like every photographer does. Yeah.
Okay. Well, guess what? We're in the final 5 minutes of the show. I hope you had fun talking to me.
I absolutely did. I enjoyed this. This has been great.
Thank you. I agree. It has been. I'd argue if I could. All right. That having been said, do you have anything coming up on the horizon that you want to mention that you might have overlooked? I just want to make sure we cover everything.
Well, as I did mention, I have that display coming up. The two exhibits.
Okay.
Those are the Norton Library. They will be running June through July, 2 different displays. The first one going up is going to be called People and Places.
Okay.
It's just what it is. It highlights my portrait work. It highlights landscape work that I've done throughout the area. Anything from the published pictures to lighthouses to waterfronts, things of that nature. So it's a culmination of things. The second one going up, which will be the month of July, that's again Boston After Dark. It's just basically making another tour to a new location, a culmination of pictures taken at night, where people down this way typically don't go to Boston a lot. So, what I'm doing is bringing the big city to them
Exactly.
in nighttime aspect. And let's see if I can try to amaze a few people. I have one particular picture on that display that I shot from. Let me think. I was from East Boston,
Okay.
and I shot across the harbor and the Custom House Tower, surrounded by a myriad of buildings. And to look at it, it looks like it's almost like a gold effect.
Sweet. All right. Yeah. I'm sure.
It's an amazing picture. I have it on my phone. When you and I log off, I'll
Okay.
send you a picture. I'll send you some directly through your text,
Okay.
and then you and your guy can, have fun with those if you'd like.
Great. Yeah. All right. Look, if you had a good time with me, what I'd like you to do is to see if you got anyone else you think might be a great guest for my show, give them my digits, have them contact me. Models, definitely, if you know any, but anyone who has who'd be an interesting guest, I can talk about anything that they want to talk about. So,
well, you're a showman. That's what it is. You're prescribed to talk, and I work with the public as well. So guess what? I have to talk to people.
Exactly. So just give them my digits. You don't even have to ask me. Just have them call me, and we'll set something up.
I have a person who I could possibly do it. I don't know. She's very, very busy, but I can reach out to her and see what she says.
Okay.
And then, as I say, let's see where the chips fall.
All right, we're about to wrap the show. One favor, after we wrap the show up, you stick around and let my tech guy take a pic, and I'll put it on Facebook.
Okay, I'm on the other side of the camera, huh?
Okay. All right, folks, we're wrapping up another great Topic Time show. See you next time. Rolling out and signing off.
Hey, Harrison?
Yep.
Just real quick, just anyone wants to know, it's imagesbysean.com.
What was that?
My website is imagesbysean.com.
You got it. We'll make sure we get that on there.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. All right.